are, got the boards in place, nice thick boards, and we've got a real heavy tarpaulin sheet, heavy duty tarpaulin sheet. Got a couple of boards down here. We'll pick up another sheet later on and just keep this area covered. There we are. Right, I'm seriously, have we scripted this now? Is it written down?
Well, I don't know. You probably went over it about 100 times the way out.
No, I'm not doing it. I was going to say, we are at another project and I haven't finished this other one, have I?
No.
But that's going to appear like not good with some people, but it is a good thing because what we're doing is we're not doing like a ground force style finish. So what we've done yesterday, we've grouted the path down the side and the shed base using the old porcelain slabs. Yeah, old porcelain slabs because they were laid wrong. So we've got a shed base down, we've grouted that, and we grouted the patio the other day, the main area. And when we arrived yesterday, what was all over it?
Like clay, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Clay.
And do you think it rained out of the sky? The clay.
The clay, no, but it did rain.
It's like that situation. So if you're a consumer out there, one of the biggest things that you hear so very often from contractors, the contractor will say to the customer, whatever you do, don't walk on the paving. You get back the next day and the paving's loose. But sometimes there's also that case where years ago when we had that thin sandstone, that the paving came loose because it delaminated, because the bed hydrated, the water was sucked out of it from the sandstone. So there's that as well. So there's two sides to every story, but that patio was totally clean, wasn't it? We haven't been down there, and there was clay all over it, and the majority of clay was on the threshold of the going into the house. Part two. So I've explained about the clay being all over it. So it's not a good thing because the clay gets down in the cementatious ground, and it's a mineral, you see. So, and it just, mineral deposits can cause a problem. They've got all sorts in them. So I'm making this video now because I want you to know there is nothing wrong with a contractor making use of his time. So we haven't got this particular project booked in yet, okay? But we're making use of our time now, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely.
Does that make sense? Part three. So if our customer knew that we were here now, right, do you think they'd be happy?
Probably not.
But why don't we want to go there today?
Well, obviously that we've grouted, then we're going to be going up and over the clay, putting the stone in, doing the concrete plinth, so just giving it a bit of time.
Yeah, and we need access over the patio, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing is, it's not to rush a good job, is it really?
No, definitely not. We don't want to compromise the grout or anything like that, really.
No. Part four. Are we going to eat today?
When do you not eat? Always eating.
You can see who the biggest is.
He says the one that's on bigger trousers than me.
We're moving on now. We've got the cement in. We're going to put a lean mix over here now, aren't we? So we're going to start building this up. If you look at the depth, rather than putting type 1 in, over here on this part here, our customer's going to have, what's he going to have?
Yeah, it's a big barbecue, I think.
Yeah, a bit of weight in it. Yeah. Is it about a third of a ton?
I think it's heavier, to be honest.
Is it really?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do, if you look at the depth, we're going to have to make up. Oh, my phone's going. Morning. Here we are. We're in sunny Chepstow. The channel here, the Bristol Channel, it really does come in heavy. It rains, it snows. You can have all sorts of all the 4 seasons in one day. But anyway, here we are. We're on this project now. You can see the patio doors there. What we're going to do, we're going to bring the patio up to 1 below damp, okay, which is allowed, okay. And if you don't believe me, look at Tony McCormack's paving expert. Have a look what he says about domestic situations, 1 below damp. You come up, it's called bending the rule, okay. That's what he talks about. It's absolutely fine. And even if I'm not going to say it, but your concern should always be with damp cause is when your paving starts compromising the damp, and the way you do that is by transfer, okay, bridging as we call it. And you'll only get that if it's touching. If your paving's not touching, it's absolutely fine. Spoke to somebody the other day that was speaking to a building inspector in Yorkshire, and they were talking about creating voids and paving over the top. So your paving is so far from the building. I'm not going to get into this too much now. And then what you do, you build a wall on the outside, so that, or some brickwork, so you create a void, so you've got like a clean void all the way along. So anyway, that's it. So what we've done, we're extending the patio this way. We've put a Leanmix in. This is roughly about 12 inches thick.
Easy, yeah.
Yeah, so it's roughly about 12 inches thick, and we're going to go over it again with another Leanmix to get the bed absolutely perfectly right, so that when we're bedding, we're only using 25 mil, and that's all you need. But remember what we do on here, right? We'll slurry this as well, won't we?
Yeah.
So your slurry on your Leanmix will adhere to your bedding mortar. Just turn around from here, right? You can see we've got a string line running through now, right through the garden. Not a massive garden in this occasion, but still a beautiful little garden. And the beauty about this garden is that we're going to have our customer here, Tony, is really into his plants, so I can't wait to see the plants in there. He's got a really big Dixonia antarctica, so that New Zealand tree fern, so we're going to be putting more of those in. So what we're going to be having here is, you can see the string line running through, so we've got some sort of datum to work with. We've got a slight fall on there, and you're going to ask about falls. Well, in here we're going to have it like a turn of a bubble, which is 10 millimeter roughly anyway. But what we've got here, we're going to have a planter that's going to go into the wall there, okay, as a retainer, and it's going to sweep round here, because the ground goes up here, and then around the back of a circular decked area in this garden, so they can use the garden over here. I hope you can hear me from there. I'm going to have to turn that grass in there, right? Little spikes in there, we don't want to be falling on that. So decked area, meandering wall, the wall's going to meander around the back, and you can see how the ground drops on that side, so we're going to have to put a bit of a wall there. And then over in the corner over there, where all the plants are being stored at the moment, we're going to be putting a new hard standing over there, and we're going to be using the old paving that the builders, the contractors, the developers have put in. So we've got a number of slabs left here, and then we're also going to go down the side of the house. Can you just show down the side of the house, right? We're going to have to put a small wall in there, and if you look across here, so we're going to have to make sure that we dig this out. But the levels between each property here is probably about a foot, and it sort of drops down over a short distance, which is not good. So we'll have to put some block work on there, slab across there, and this can be used as a utility area. So if you look across the garden, so we can have a split level on here. This is going to come down, and then we're going to step down onto the lawn. And along the wall here, parallel with the wall, we're going to put a path in to take you to the decked area through the grass. And at last, we're going to have some real grass. And I'm going to get some time lapse going soon, but it's starting to rain now. It's not a great day for doing it, and we're right on the channel. You can see the bridge over there, so we've just got to sort of tread very carefully. And the board that we're using now today to get the soil up, we're using a board to run the wheelbarrows up, to drop the soil in, the spore to get it away. It's starting to become slippy now. We're not going to take any chances, and we're not going to have any mishaps, are we, right?
No.
So there we are. Take a good look at. Hey, right. Just got to say, the soil in this garden is pretty good.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for a change. Good depth, but we're going to have to dig some grit in to improve the drainage, but there's no significant signs of any water pooling on the top, so that's a great sign for a later date for when we put the turf in. That's it now, and see you in the next day. So this is a sample of the Shosugi Ban, the burnt wood, whatever you want to call it, and this is an 8x2. We've worked on it now, we've got a bit of dust on it, but just to show you what it can actually look like, so we can have a decked area made out of this. Well, what we're doing here, we're coming up a little bit more with the Leanmix. So what we want to try and do is we want the Leanmix we're going to put on top of this, because we have to make it the difference, and we want it to adhere to what's underneath. So we put a slurry underneath. It's fresh, it'll stick to the base because there's cement below, and that slurry is cement. It's got the same DNA, and then we're going to mix this Leanmix up, and then we're going to put that on top, and it will adhere to it, so you don't get any segregation like you would if you were laying paving itself. The reason we're using those slurry mixers is simply because we want it to adhere, we want it to have some cohesiveness between each level. And it's in the same way, the reason we use SBR is because we don't want the SBR stops the bedding mortar actually sucking all the moisture out of the mortar that you're putting on. So it just needs to stick together. So what we're going to do now, get this row in here now, and then we're going to slowly this bit, mix that up, and then go again. Can you get Leanmix ready mix? Of course you can. You go to any concrete suppliers and you can get it ordered and you get it delivered on site. But we haven't got it delivered today. There's only a certain amount we can actually do today, and small amounts cost more money than what we do if we had 3 cubic meters. So it would just cost you more money. So it's just as cost effective just to mix it by hand. It's a bit of hard work, but it keeps you fit.